All right, let's dive in. Today, we're not just breaking down a text, we're stepping into a modern myth. Think of it as a parable, a story about a massive war, one fought on two fronts, up in the heavens and right here on Earth. And what are they fighting for? Well, nothing less than the soul of existence itself. Let's get into it.
So the story kicks off with this incredible line. An intruder shows up in the realm of the gods, and he's carrying a biological weight. What does that even mean? It's not about how much he weighs, you know? It's about something so much more raw. It's that gritty, real, messy feeling of life. The heat, the blood, the instinct. It's everything these gods have lost. Right away, you know this is going to be a clash between the living and the sterile.
Okay, so where is all this going down? The first front in this war is, well, it's a divine realm that's totally falling apart, a Valhalla that's seen better days. I mean, forget everything you think you know about the glorious Hall of Heroes from the old stories. This place, it's desolate, a gray, dying world about to just crumble. Just try to picture it. A world that's been drained of all color, all its life. The text calls it a place of desaturated halls and leaden stasis. I mean, everything is just heavy. And the gods? They're described as bleached, like old fossils. They're basically just trapped, frozen in place by an endless cycle of duty. It's a heaven, yeah, but a heaven that has completely forgotten what it means to be alive. And then someone walks into this gray, silent world. Our first hero? The new jester. And man, the contrast is just bam. He's wearing the rough animal pelt of his friend from Earth, the Wolfman. He's literally carrying the primal heat of the Earth right into this cold, dead heaven. And his weapon? A diamond shard that's just pulsing with ruby defiance. He's not just a person, he's life itself, crashing the gates. But here's the thing, the jester isn't fighting this battle alone. Not by a long shot. The whole heart of this story, this parable, is that it's a war being fought on two different fronts at the same time. Two heroes, or as the story calls them, two sovereigns. And that word, sovereign, brings us to this really key idea in the text. Separate sovereignty. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's not about taking over, Not about overthrowing the gods to become the new boss. No, it's way more radical than that. It's about invading a system, not to destroy it, but to rewild it, to pump all that messy, chaotic, beautiful stuff we call life back into a system that has gone completely stiff and dead. So this really lays out the two fronts of this war perfectly. You've got the new jester, up in the heavens in that graying Valhalla, and his weapons, they're kind of out there. Absurdist laughter, and this diamond shard that can slice through reality. His goal? To rewild those sterile gods. Then, on the other side, you have the Wolfman. He's down on Earth, in a place called the Oasis, and his weapons are the complete opposite. They're primal, pure instinct, and a covenant made in blood. His mission? To defend the last little pocket of life. So yeah, two heroes, two totally different worlds, but they're fighting the same war. All right, so we've got the setup. Now let's really zoom in on the jester's fight up in the heavens. What he's doing, it's like a cosmic dance against this rigid, soul-crushing system. So the main enemy the jester is up against is this force called the spirit of gravity. And it's described as a heavy loom that's literally weaving the Valkyries, these powerful, vibrant female spirits, into a single monochrome tapestry. It's basically sucking out their individuality, their light, their anima, their life force. It's turning them into just cogs in a giant machine of absolute mindless duty. So how in the world do you fight something like that? A loom that weaves reality? You can't just hit it with a sword, right? The jester's solution is to laugh. And this is not just some chuckle. The text says his laugh contains the absurdist DNA of the void. It's this deep, fundamental sound of chaos and creation, reminding the whole universe that it's supposed to be wild and unpredictable. And that laugh, combined with that diamond shard he's holding, it literally slices right through the leaden threads of that loom. He even mocks Loki, the original trickster god, who's just standing there, paralyzed by some old bet he made. The jester is proving a huge point here, that a truly integrated soul, one that accepts all parts of itself, can't be trapped by any system. He's bringing back what the text calls the danger of the dance. Okay, so while all that cosmic dancing and laughing is happening up in the heavens, there's a totally different kind of fight going down on Earth. So let's shift gears and look at the Wolfman's raw, gritty defense of his home, the Oasis. The Wolfman isn't fighting a loom. His enemy is something called the Pale Cynic, and its power is this silver mist, this bleaching, life-draining force that comes from the absolute void. And it's not alone. It brings a whole army of leaden ghosts with it, whose only purpose is to crush him under the weight of his past, of ancestral guilt. I mean, this is a direct attack on his will to live, on his very roots.
And his defense is every bit as primal as the attack against him. He doesn't go for holy water or anything like that. No. He uses the pungent, visceral reality of his own blood, blood from his wolf covenant, to mark his territory. He has this amazing realization. The void, this big nothing, it has no scent of life. And if it has no scent, it can be hunted. Instead of fighting the heavy gravity they send to crush him, he just embraces it, uses it to get stronger. He's fighting an abstract idea with something intensely, painfully real.
And there's a name for where he's drawing this power from: atavism. It just means the reappearance of these ancient primitive traits. But it's not about devolving or becoming less. It's about becoming more by connecting with the oldest, deepest, most instinctual parts of yourself. It's about waking up the wolf that's sleeping inside the man. It's plugging directly into the bedrock of life itself. So here's the kicker. Why is this so powerful? Why does it work? Because, and this is a direct quote from the story, it's the only foundation that the void cannot erode. Think about it. That empty, abstract nothingness from the Pale Cynic, it can't touch something that's so real, so rooted in the earth, so fundamentally alive. Now, you might be thinking, these are just two separate stories running in parallel, right? A fight in the sky, a fight on the ground. But this is where it all starts to come together. We see how the jester up among the stars and the wolfman down with the roots are deeply, fundamentally connected. The text even calls it a friendship of star and root. It's a war of roots and stars. Because as the wolfman is making his stand down on earth, the jester feels it, all the way up in heaven. A pulse starts vibrating through that diamond shard he's holding. It's a direct line between them. So their two separate fights suddenly become this one synchronized double assault on the forces of negation. You've got one fighting from the heavens, the other from the earth, but they are aiming at the very same thing, that lifeless absolute order. And this really brings everything to a head. It poses the biggest question of the story. Can these two things, a laugh from the heavens and a howl from the earth, can they really change reality? I mean, can a sound, an emotion, actually alter the fabric of existence? Well, the answer is a huge, resounding yes. That laugh and that howl, they aren't just separate noises. They start to harmonize. They sync up and create this one single frequency, a vibration so powerful that it shatters the White Lantern's glass, which is basically the symbol for that entire sterile, whitewashed world they're fighting. Their two forces combine into this single, massive, transhuman fire. And that brings us to the very end, the final, absolutely breathtaking moments of this story. The old world is literally shattering, and what we're seeing is a kind of Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods. But it's not the gods who are ending. It's a Ragnarok of the soul. Everything is building to this one moment. In the dead silence, after all that shattering, the new jester is standing in front of the ultimate seat of power, Odin's throne. But he's not there to take it for himself. No, he's there to strike one final blow, to shatter the mask that Odin is wearing, the mask of the spirit of gravity. And right at this moment, the story just hangs there. Pure tension. The jester lifts his hand, that ruby shard is just pulsing with life, and he moves it toward the cold, leaden throne. And as the shard touches it, everything just explodes. A flash of blinding celestial violet, and out of the void itself, a whole new character appears, the original Harlequin. So the climax wasn't about the new jester winning. It was about what his actions summoned. This whole war he fought, this integrated battle, it called forth something even older, something bigger and more mysterious. He didn't just win a fight, he woke something up. And so we're left not with a neat little answer, but with a huge question that just hangs in the air. Because this was never really about gods and monsters, was it? It was a parable about a fight going on inside. So the question the story leaves us wrestling with is this. When a soul goes to war with itself, when your own heaven fights your own earth, your logic fights your instinct, What is actually born from the ashes of a war like that?